So today I'm going to do something a little bit new for this channel that I have wanted to start for a while, so I'm going to do that today. The background is new. I have just finished rearranging my room, and so I have new bookcases, and there'll be very soon up a rearranging video of me sorting out all of these books. But for today's video, I want to do something called First Scene Sunday. Or First Scene Sunday or One Scene Sunday. Which is pretty much the same as First Page Friday, which a lot of people do, where you read the first page of a book that you're reading. But I didn't want to do that because Fridays are not a day that I often have available to kind of be doing filming, but I wanted to do something on Sundays that I could kind of pretty regularly do something. And often the first page of a book doesn't really give you enough detail, because I don't think it's not the end of a scene, so it doesn't really grab you as much. So instead I'm going to do first scenes of books and just read them to you, and hopefully you guys will like what you hear enough to want to read the book or get the audiobook. Things like that. So the first book that I'm going to do this with is Delirium by Lauren Oliver. This is a book that I really like. It's a trilogy, but this is definitely my favourite of the trilogy. I didn't know it was a trilogy until 2 months after I finished this book, and personally I think it should have stayed a standalone. I didn't like the second two very much, but this first book is fantastic and I think everyone should read it, and possibly then the next two if you think you want to continue with the story. But this book is wonderful, so I'm going to read the first scene of this book. One. The most dangerous sicknesses are those that make us believe we are well. Proverb 24, the Book of Shh. It has been 64 years since the President and the Connoissarium identified love as a disease, and 43 since the scientists perfected a cure. Everyone else in my family has had the procedure already. My older sister Rachel has been disease-free for 9 years now. She's been safe from love for so long she says she can't even remember its symptoms. I am scheduled to have my procedure in exactly 95 days on September 3rd, my birthday. Many people are afraid of the procedure. Some people even resist. But I'm not afraid. I can't wait. I would have it done tomorrow if I could, but you have to be at least 18, sometimes a little older, before the scientists will cure you. Otherwise, the procedure won't work correctly. People end up with brain damage, partial paralysis, blindness, or worse. I don't like to think that I'm still walking around with the disease running through my blood. Sometimes I swear I can feel it writhing in my veins like something spoiled, like sour milk. It makes me feel dirty. It reminds me of children throwing tantrums. It reminds me of resistance, of diseased girls dragging their nails on the pavement, tearing out their hair, their mouths dripping spit. And of course it reminds me of my mother. After the procedure I will be happy and safe forever. That's what everybody says, the scientists and my sister and Aunt Carol. I will have the procedure, and then I'll be paired with a boy the evaluators choose for me. In a few years we'll get married. Recently I've started having dreams about my wedding. In them I'm standing under a white canopy with flowers in my hair. I'm holding hands with someone, but whenever I turn to look at him, his face blurs, like a camera losing focus, and I can't make out any features. But his hands are cool and dry, and my heart is beating steadily in my chest. In my dream, I know it will always beat out that same rhythm, not skip or jump or swirl or go faster, just womp, 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 until I'm dead, safe and free from pain. Things weren't always as good as they are now. In school we learned that in the old days, the dark days, people didn't realise how deadly a disease love was. For a long time they even viewed it as a good thing, something to be celebrated and pursued. Of course, that's one of the reasons it's so dangerous. It affects your mind so that you cannot think clearly or make the rational decisions about your own well-being. That's symptom number 12, listed in the Amor Deliria Nervosa section of the 12th edition of the Safety, Health and Happiness Handbook, or the Book of Shh, as we call it. Instead, people back then named other diseases: stress, heart disease, anxiety, depression, hypertension, insomnia, bipolar disorder, never realizing that these were, in fact, only symptoms that in the majority of cases could be traced back to the effects of amor deliria nervosa. Of course, we aren't yet totally free from deliria in the United States. Until the procedure has been perfected, until it has been made safe for under 18s, we will never be totally protected. It still moves around us with invisible sweeping tentacles, choking us. I've seen countless uncureds dragged to their procedures, so racked and ravaged by love that they would rather tear their own eyes out, or try to impale themselves on the barbed wire fences outside of the laboratories than be without it. Several years ago, on the day of her procedure, one girl managed to slip from her restraints and find her way to the laboratory roof. She dropped quickly, without screaming. For days afterward, they broadcast the image of the dead girl's face on television to remind us the dangers of the deliria. Her eyes were open, and her neck was twisted at an unnatural angle, but from the way her cheek was resting against the pavement, you might otherwise think she had lain down to take a nap. Surprisingly, there was very little blood, just a small dark trickle at the corner of her mouth. 95 days, and I'll be safe. I'm nervous, of course. I wonder whether the procedure will hurt. I want to get it over with. It's hard to be patient. It's hard not to be afraid while I'm still uncured, though so far the deliria hasn't touched me yet. Still, I worry. They say that in the old days, love drove people to madness. That's bad enough. The Book of Shh also tells stories of those who died because of love lost or never found, which terrifies me the most. The deadliest of all deadly things. It kills you both when you have it and when you don't. So that's kind of the first scene of that book. I hope you liked this video. If you want me to continue doing this, then kind of like the video. If you've read this book, have a bit of a chat with me about it, because I really like this book. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!